Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brendan. I'm the lead consultant of Empathy Solutions, and today at the Digital Marketing Summit Asia, I'm going to be talking to you about personalization. The top topic of my talk will be who's in my funnel. Now, we refer funnels to the place where we have the leads move through a lead stage to a contact, to a prospect, to a customer, and then to a repeat customer. So a sales funnel and a marketing funnel is what we typically refer to when talking about managing of these lead to contact to buying kind of phases. So just a quick intro about myself. I'm the lead consultant of Empathy Solutions. We are a marketing automation specialist. And what is marketing automation? It is actually one of the technologies in digital marketing. And in fact, a study by Smart Insights magazine based in UK stated that marketing automation is fast becoming one of the top priorities of small and medium businesses. And the key benefits of using marketing automations tools are in lead management and nurturing, measuring results, and enhanced targeting and personalization, which is the topic of the day. I started off in the sales department and slowly moving up to marketing as I became more interested in generating a sustainable source of leads rather than hunting for new sales leads. And I also also help companies to implement customer relationship management software, and I did project lead some software development before, so I'm actually a Scrum product owner as well. So in a nutshell, I carry with myself experience in sales, marketing, and technology. And with that, using our business tools, we basically help SMEs to grow their sales using marketing automation. So today's topic is about who is in my funnel and how to drive personalized marketing instead of anonymous marketing. So today's discussion today's masterclass is going to be talking about three areas: why personalize, what to personalize, and how to personalize. So traditionally, we have segmented our list into, for example, like a lead, a warm lead, or classify based on the interest they have, right? So this is just segmentation. And personalization is not to treat groups of people, but actually treat people as individuals. So personalization is different from segmentation. It is about creating relevance and a feeling that your solution is actually custom tailored. And in today's digital marketing world, the customer is able to be interacted with your communications through web page visits, social media engagement, like in Facebook, Instagram, Google+, or LinkedIn. And you can reach the customer also through emails, direct mail, messaging services like WhatsApp or WeChat. So there is a lot of way that when we communicate to the customer, whether it be the web content or social media or communications in mail, we can personalize all these communications with them and create that multi-point, multi-touch, multi-channel experience, and making the customer feel that we understand them, right? So the top reason why you should personalize your communications is the psychology of the buyer, which is underlined by one word, that is what is in it for me. The buyer wants to know how relevant or how does your product help him, not just help anyone that is similar to him, but actually helps him solve his problem. We want to create relevance in personalization, and the relevance is relevant to a few areas, that is to their demographics. So for example, is a male, female, geographic region, job title, and in B2B, like maybe a C-level or a particular department or function, right? In particular verticals like healthcare, right? And what are the interests and preferences of the audience, as can be measured by sometimes through their interactions with your content material, the interest that they expressively state with when they fill in forms, or through their behavior of what are the content materials they consume according to different interest categories that you have. Is your message relevant to the audience's life stage? So the way that you communicate to even a couple with children may be different when the children are very young, to early teenage years, and even adult children, right? So you can actually communicate to them in a very different way, touching the main pain points, or their identifying with their struggles on a daily basis. So for example, like a couple with young children may find it difficult when traveling overseas, when they are on planes where their children are crying and everyone is looking at them, and they feel stressed over that experience. So as opposed to when you're communicating, let's say you are really selling, airline tickets, right? And the way that you communicate to young parents with teenage children who can be easily bored, and probably the in-flight entertainment would really help, or maybe even creating opportunities like games in the flight. So things like that. Whether is your communications and your products aligned to the life stage of the prospect? The is your message also relevant to the audience's problems and pain points? Different groups of people in the decision-making process may have different pain points, and it is also different from different personality types and the way they make decisions. So in this area, you can actually group your audiences into what we call buyers personas, and identify what are the common pain points that the particular target group have, and then using your core messages to appeal to these pain points and make your solution more relevant to them. Are you also targeting your message based on the decision-making stage of the audience? So when they start to just know your brand versus when they already are in your lead nurturing funnel, and they have warmed up to the message, and they are in the sales decision-making stage. So if you're trying to sell too early, sometimes you run the danger of getting people to unsubscribe, and they are not yet ready to buy. So that's something you want to avoid, and be able to send relevant and timely messages to people in different decision-making stages. All in all, you want to know how to make your target audience feel understood, because that is a powerful motivation trigger, that they understand that what your product can do for them, and it is timely, and it is only when they want it, and not what you want to sell them, but rather that there's something that they need to solve their problem. And you can see that example in a lot of videos where you can actually identify with the story, the problems, the challenges, and the pain of the actors who are acting it out, and that is really a very powerful message, right? So if you can make your communications more relevant to your target audience according to their demographics, interest and preference, the life stage, the pain points and problems they have, and the decision-making stage, then you can increase your conversion by a substantial amount. And in fact, studies have shown that companies using a disciplined way of doing personalization can actually achieve a 20 to 30% more conversion than companies not using personalization. Companies that do personalization really well are traditionally the e-commerce. And if you are an Amazon buyer, you know that if you already buy a book, then they show you relevant books according to the kind of categories and type keywords. And if you have bought physical products, they even can match according to colors, and relevant products is really amazing. So I personally was shopping around for accommodations on Booking.com. I was going to visit Phoenix, Arizona in USA in October. So I actually went to Booking.com and looked, and at the same time I also looked at accommodations for Bali also. So guess what? After a few days, I actually received an email, and in the email, it just highlights to me based on the cities that I visited, the web pages I visited. They even show how many deals are left, so there's some urgency in the message, and those are actually the hotels that meet my budget, because I was filtering out all hotels that is below above $60, above $80. So they're actually showing me those hotels that actually match my budget. Right, and of course, there is that name personalization. You can see my name repeating twice, right? So the e-commerce companies have already done a very comprehensive personalization already. Many other businesses are still catching on, but they are slowly realizing that really helps a lot. So why would personalization help? And most companies actually agree that the impact on ROI is very high. In this survey done by eConsultancy in 2014, shows how in the dark blue, how many proportion of companies they're actually using personalization strategies, certain type, and those that say that impact on ROI is high. You can see that it's very interesting that already a lot of companies are already using personal data as a form of personalization, like first name, maybe gender, and even location. But not many people are using the other kind of personalization data, like, for example, purchase history, user preferences, behavior on your web pages, interactions with your brand history, for example, message opens and clicks, browser history, including what was a search term, which website referred them in, and which ads did they view. So not many companies are using that kind of personalization data. Of course, it's not technologically easy to implement, but in the last 3 to 5 years, many more affordable tools are now available for even small and medium-sized companies to use things like behavior on web, right? Interactions with the brand history and browser history to formulate their personalization strategy. So before we launch into how we can employ personalization strategies, we need to understand what are the things that can be personalized, right? And personalization strategy is actually one of the capabilities that, according to 1/3 of CMOs that were surveyed, they considered personalization as one of the most important capability to develop, right? And what kind of things can be personalized? So we already have the ability to so-called personalize ads in a way that it is personalized to the buying stage of the customer. We are able to create different campaigns to target at the initial awareness stage, consideration stage, and then the decision-making stage. So for example, let's say I'm running Facebook advertisements and I'm selling, let's say, a clothesline device to hang clothes better and make a more efficient way of hanging clothes faster to dry, So this is my product. So my initial lead magnet could be maybe a post about how to fold your t-shirt in 4 seconds, or how to quick dry your clothes in half the time, right? So this has nothing to do with my first product. So what I want to do is that already I can get people to click and land on the landing page, and then using conversion tracking to see who convert and who doesn't. And for those who visited the page but didn't convert, I can retarget them into my next ads, which is obviously they are interested in some form of managing their personal laundry. So the next article or the next ad I can put up maybe is in the area of how to dry your clothes, right? So that is a lot more relevant, and it is probably a lot more nearer to the final buy. Or I can already put up my ads talking about how to dry the clothes using a demo video of how our product is being used. So this is already one way of personalizing ads according to the buyers, also or according to the web visitors' past behaviors on web page visits, landing page visits, and interaction with your ads. So that's one way already. And we certainly already need to implement this device personal if you have already not done so, right? In terms of responsive web pages, and even implementing a mobile site as opposed to a full-fledged site. So some companies may actually have the mobile.something.com, right? So that will cater for the mobile experience, which can be totally different from the website experience. So device personalization. We can also personalize the web content. So if you visit the website right, before, or you have certain profile, they actually can show different kind of a text content, different images to you, right? If you visit a second time or third time, right? Or they want you to take certain actions. So dynamic web content, and there's also adaptive CTA. So an example of an adaptive call to action is like, for example, in this image, if a person has visited my website more than twice, right, I would want to have a pop-up, claim a free consult, 20-minute script ideal call, send me an invite if they stay for more than 8 seconds, right? So adaptive CTA can be achieved because there is already ability to track, and even if it is not someone who have already given their personal contact, we can actually capture their IP address and based on the cookie to identify and tag them. In fact, later I'll talk about ConvertFlow, which is a software that even small, medium-sized companies is very affordable to implement adaptive call to actions. You also have things like personalized images, like what I received for Franken. For those who don't know Franken is quite a pretty well-known online digital marketer, multi-millionaire, very successful. So I received some of his emails, and one of the emails basically state, hey, Brendan, you have this envelope waiting for you. And in the email itself, there is an image of him holding up an envelope with my name on it. So how cool is that, right? So there is an ability to already do image personalization. And further down Franken's funnel, there's another image with him drawing your name on a chalkboard, and the font you can see that is actually a chalk kind of a font. So it's pretty amazing what technology already allows us to do. And it's not only images that can be personalized, right? Even videos can be personalized. So this is from a company called Direct Smile. They have a technology to render name and different kind of font types into videos and images, right? So this is really cool. Can you see that my name on the softball is actually in a font that it looks like it is embossed onto the ball, right? So it's really cool. All right, so dynamic web content examples, I think you can see in quite a lot of places, but I just like to maybe just show one of the websites that I've recently been on, PR Newswire. So this company, basically I was researching on how to send PR news releases, right? So I went to the company website and open an account, and they ask for some profiling information. And upon giving away some of these information like employee size, revenue, industry, they actually already flag out, okay, what are the resources that may be interested based on my interest I expressed. Like I was talking about how to write. I'm interested in doing press releases. So they actually already given some resource that I can read. All right, so that's one already they started. That is the first sign that I know that they are very into profiling and personalization. The next time I visited the website, they asked me a question on what is my role, right? So am I in the marketing, public relations, IR, compliance, or agency? And again, by clicking on this, although I have I may not have been logged in, so they've already recorded my IP address and cookie, So this click on the particular category of my role determines what kind of experience I get the next time I visit their website. So in fact, how it basically looks like when I visit their website again, right? So as you can see on this website page, the next time I visit the website, okay, other than the news release, which is the latest news, when I scroll down further, right, I can actually see that they're actually displaying articles of my interest, right? Something that I may be interested in. Okay, the internet's a bit slow. All right, yeah, at the bottom, right, you can see that my role initially that I indicated was marketer and communicator. So they actually shortlisted what are the potential things that I would be reading, right? So that is how cool it is in terms of their ability to personalize. So is it something that it can be quite creepy, because it seems that I can be, if I know that I'm being tracked and I haven't even give away my details, or I haven't even given them permission, it's really very creepy. So can it be too, or rather over personalized? Yes, in fact, a research by Yahoo has shown that more than 60% of online users want to know why, what, and how websites select content that are personalized for them. In fact, maybe of course there has to be some best practice in terms of allowing cookies to be planted, of course, and more importantly, don't spook your audience, right? To make it so obvious that you are tracking them, right? So personalization, there is a danger of being over personalized. So understanding what you can personalize now lead me to sharing about how you can implement personalization strategies in your company. There are some prerequisites of personalization. You have to understand a few key points about the customer, their buying behaviors, their psychology. So you will need to develop what we call a customer journey. Is the process from which the customer, from a lead, it becomes an interested prospect, and then he engages your education material, nurturing material, and finally becoming a buyer, and then even monitoring whether do they refer a friend, or conducting customer surveys for satisfaction, right? So this is what we call the customer journey. Is a beginning to end experience of how the customer encounters your brand and your product. We also probably need what we call buyers personas, because every one of these leads are individuals. They are real people. They are not just one digit. So it is very likely that you can groups of customers by their personas, for example, like their personality types and their decision-making process, right? And you also will need to do some form of segmentation of your current database and tidy up and label them properly, or what we call tagging. And there must be a way to contain and keep all this information about individual context, their purchase history, their behaviors like web visits and link clicks, videos watched, their segment data, like their demographics, right? Like their male, their female, their industry, their job titles, right? So these are the fields that you actually keep. And other things like their interactions, like have they downloaded this particular information, or has your customer service called them before? And there must be a way to document down these notes that you have talked to them. So it is a very comprehensive amount of data that you keep on each individual customer. And really the best way is to have some kind of a CRM to able to keep this data all in one place. And then you will need tools to automate all these tagging and recording and detection. Right? We classify this group of tools as marketing automation tools that can track user behavior and progressively profile the information so that you can use that information to craft your personalization strategies. You also going to probably need some dynamic content tools and the adaptive call to action tools. Importantly, you need to know how well is your marketing automation doing and what are the areas that you will need to tidy up on in terms of your personalization strategy. So analytics, the ability to measure conversion rates, able to do split tests, right, is very crucial when you are embarking onto personalization. So all in all, these are the few things that you need to get prepared. And let me go through some details about each of these items, right? So first, you have the customer journey map, right? It's a way to, like I say, to be able to understand how does this person make a decision on the buy in terms of how they buy. In the different phases, like for example, in this slide, you have attract, interact, engage, convert, but there may be other kind of stages or other phases that other you may like to use. Like in HubSpot, they use awareness, consideration, decision, and in lifecycle marketing, we call it the attract, sell, and wow phase. So I mean, it's basically roughly the same. The key point is that you need to know at each stage what is the objective of the customer, right? It is to, in the attract phase, is really to trigger that need that they, hey, you know, let's say I'm selling technology for slimming called CoolSculpting. Is a non-invasive slimming technology. So I may be selling my ads, right? I may put out my ads not on the product itself. I want to capture all those who are concerned with their shape, right? So I don't necessarily going to put up ads on CoolSculpting, but I can put up an ad, for example, on 5 ways to slim down without any pain and dieting, you know. So then that kind of articles triggers that need or filters down who is actually need the kind of target audience that I want to reach to. So attracting the right target audience with the right kind of ads, and then moving them into the funnel to interact with your material. So making them understand a bit more about that product itself, you know, that it's not invasive. You don't need to exercise that much, you know, you don't have to force yourself to go to diet, but you can actually get slimmer. So there's some series of educational videos, right? Then finally, if they have watched more, let's say more than 50% of the video, they have visited your pricing page, then they move on to the next stage, which is engage. So maybe by then you may have their telephone numbers. You will get one of the sales staff to give them a call. You know, hey, hi, I noticed that you've been our subscriber for some time, and you might have watched some of our videos. We'd like to invite you for a free trial. You know, that kind of thing. So that is how a customer journey will move through the different phases. And different phases, they have different needs, they have different feelings, and they have different objections or what we call barriers, right? That will stop them from moving on to the next stage. So the more you understand about such a journey, the better. And Empathy Solutions, we have this program called Customer Insights Program, which is also ICB funded. Basically, is how we can educate the customer on to know more about how their customer behave in this customer journey, and they be able to identify where are the touch points you can create, and to educate them and nurture them into a more ready buyer. And at the same time, you can trigger different touch points based on different platforms. Like they came in through Facebook, but I can retarget them in Google search, and I can approach them by direct mail. I can get a service staff to call them at different stages of the customer journey, right? So really, the customer journey is the first step in understanding and embarking on a personalization strategy. Well, if you have the resources and time, the other thing that you might want to look into is to develop what we call buyers personas. We want to know exactly who is this person, how is he like, what are the problems that keep him awake, what are the pain points, what is important to him, is it his family, his career, his spiritual life, right? How does he make decisions? Does he read from forums? Does he research on the internet? Or does he consult his friends and relatives, right? So that can be an important part in developing marketing materials and communications to target him. How does he research before he buys, right? So to develop the profile, you basically be looking at demographics, pain points, values, priorities, research habits, etc. And one of the good ways to develop the buyer's persona is actually what we do in customer insights is to conduct customer interviews. So the more of a different type of customers you interview, the better. So you can interview current customers. You can even interview people who came to your brand, but then they didn't buy. You could also survey them and ask key questions about that will help you to derive all these answers for the buyer's persona. For buyer's persona and customer journey, well, it's not something that is easy to implement, because after you have mapped it out, right, you could have you then need to, when you are embarking on personalization, you could then have a high level of complexity, right? So let's imagine that one customer journey is mapped to per product or per range of products. So you have 4 products, and then you have 4 buyer's persona. So essentially you have 16 maps, right? So it is kind of difficult to implement if you are not very familiar with it. There are a lot of articles online. You can actually research a bit on them, right? So that's for the customer journeys and buyer's personas. Next, you need to probably tidy up your database a little bit by segmenting, or I would say rather than segment, by tagging them and by labeling them, right? So because for segments, you can exist in different segments, like Facebook leads, you segment them into people who have watched this video, but frequently people will exist in different segments, so there's overlap. A neater way to do is actually tagging or labeling them. So one person can have multiple labels, right, multiple tags, right, as well as when you want to filter out a list, they could be coming from different tags. So I want to filter out people who have more than 5 B2B business who have more than 5 employees, more than 500K in revenue, in the healthcare vertical, and I want to talk to C-level people, right? So when you are trying to do a segmentation, you will find that there will be too many segments, right? So rather than segments, you go by a tag method. You can actually have a different comprehensive cross-section of people having different tags. So the kind of tags that you can have are things like, in terms of demographics, purchase history, customer lifetime value, interactions and behavior they have with your content and your messaging, interests and preferences that they have expressively indicated or otherwise predicted or picked up by your software, in terms of looking at what are the CTAs they click on, or what are the triggers that they have triggered. You also can tag based on the phase of the customer journey and buyer's persona. So what can you personalize? We have briefly talked about one of the areas that people personalize is basically the email, right? And email is not only about personalizing the first name. First name personalization is just very basic. It's just the first step in a proper way to personalize. So imagine this case that this hairstylist hair salon, right? So maybe this person has visited the salon for the first time, and in that appointment, they would have gathered the first appointment date. Okay, the hairstylist might have diagnosed the problem and the likely cause of the problem, and then from there they can key in the type of symptoms, the step 1, 2, 3, how to address and manage it into as fields in that contact. And automatically also things can be generated, like these are the shampoos and conditioners that you use, and you also ask about what products, and then what you can recommend, what product. So really this is a very personalized email. You would never have thought that this is actually an email that is sent via a robot, right? But actually it is, So the more data you collect, the more fields you have that is personalized information about their problem and their likely solutions, right? The better you can personalize the email. So email is not only personalizing just based on first name, it's actually a lot more. Other tools you can use for personalization, like for if you want to implement dynamic content by displaying different content to different type of people, right? If you're using WordPress, there's this neat little tool called Cosmos. It's not that expensive, so it's a pretty interesting way that they implement personalization. So let's say I sent you an email and you click on the link going to my landing page. There will be a URL parameter that is attached, and based on the URL parameter that is on the URL link, the page is able to detect. So if the URL parameter or there's a keyword, there is what, right? They will display different dynamic text based on the shortcode. Right. So for example, this post, you can actually use shortcodes, right? There is a variable shortcode according to the kind of URL parameters that they have, right? So there's a very simple way to implement dynamic content. For dynamic call to actions or adaptive call to actions, there's quite a few tools to use, but I'd just like to show you an example by when I visited Time Doctor. I was doing some research on which is one of the best time tracking software for Teams, and I came across Time Doctor. The first time I landed on Time Doctor, they asked me 3 questions, right? So, do you manage other people? Yes or no? Then how big is your team? So the kind of question. So after I answered 3 questions, and I haven't even give away my name and email at this point in time, right? So just by pure choice of my call to action, right, interactions with these buttons, they have recorded my cookie and IP address, and they have recorded these choices. And the next time I revisit the website again, I can see that the call to action actually changes. For example, in this, they actually show, okay, it seems that you are coming here for the second time, but you have not yet been registered for our demo, right? So let me invite you to the free demo, correct? So this is basically an example of an adaptive call to action. So what are the tools that these guys use? I suppose they have some kind of a personalization tool, but the one that I would recommend for small, medium companies to just start off having an adaptive call to action is a ConvertFlow. So in ConvertFlow, you can actually trigger actions based on anonymous website visits. So if they visit a first time into a pricing page, maybe after a percentage scroll of 30%, you can show a call to action, right? For example, so, and if the person visits a website, a particular web page, right? For example, your website.com/services, you add a tag to basically indicate that this person has visited the services page, right? And if he has a tag, the next time he visits, okay, and he go to the service page, or he in the main page, even on the main page itself, is to show a call to action to say, okay, we have a free consult. Do you want, or he has visited the price page a few times already, and this is the second or third time he visits it. Obviously, this guy has an intention to buy, so maybe you can offer a one-time 15% discount if you take action today, kind of urgency method, right? And you can also trigger call to actions and start email campaigns. It integrates with a few other software like GetResponse or MailChimp, so you can actually trigger an email campaign based on certain goals that they have achieved or certain actions that they've taken. All right, if they visited your website for more than 3 times, you can add them to a flow or a process, right? So this is a ConvertFlow, and usually for us personally, we will use ConvertFlow with Infusionsoft, where that tag data is actually added to Infusionsoft. So you can see in this example, if they subscribe to the newsletter and it's a first-time visitor, I want to send him a particular email sequence. But if a new visitor, I will want to send him a different sequence, right? And if he downloaded my white paper, I want to send him an offer to join my webinar. And in the webinar, I want to offer a $97 consult. So it is possible to integrate the marketing automation with adaptive CTA software like ConvertFlow. And let me show you an example of ConvertFlow. I think that is going to be quite interesting. So what ConvertFlow does is that you can see that one of the methods is the lead hook method. So they can download something, like an ebook. Let's say I have this pipeline conversion guide, right? So I put up the ebook, and the trigger settings that I can set is like, for example, it can appear. Oh, okay. I need to set this to share on the other screen. I'm so sorry. Let me move it to the other screen. Okay. So what you can see is in this example, you have the lead hook on the ConvertFlow itself, right? So the lead hook enable us to show a call to action. For example, in this case, I'm showing a ebook called In the Pipeline. And here I can actually choose the lead hook to trigger only upon scrolling after 30% of that page, then this call to action pops up, right? Or after how many seconds they are still on the page. So this is something like a pop-up, right? We call it a lead hook. Another one is an overlay. An overlay is the one that actually blanks out the whole screen into gray and only shows that particular CTA. And for the overlay, the trigger settings can be on percentage time of how many seconds after they visit, upon visitor exit, or upon button click. So this is some trigger settings you can set on ConvertFlow. And after you have set up the triggers, you can actually also determine the target audience, which is you're talking about who actually receives them. Of course, here, like I say, there are different kind of integrations ConvertFlow can handle. For example, MailChimp, Aweber GetResponse, HubSpot, ActiveCampaign, Autopilot, etc. Okay, and you can select the target audience. That is where you can see that I want to target those. I want to show the call to action only on certain pages where the page is which particular specific page, or my page contains the URL contains blog blog, right? Or the URL does not contain, or if the person has a tag, the person does not have a tag, the person has visited, has not visited, the person has an Infusionsoft tag or doesn't have an Infusionsoft tag. So you can actually set the condition on which who gets to see the call to action and what actually triggers the call to action. All right, so this is ConvertFlow for you. Okay, and that is how you can use marketing automation and personalization. So personalization is not only meant for big companies. Yes, there is quite a fair bit of resources you have to commit in order to implement personalization strategies. Like I say, to develop the customer journey, to develop the buyer's persona. If you just do it by yourself and you just think in your own team, of course you will get somewhere at least, right? But you're moving ahead. But of course, it will be better to really go be a bit more, to conduct more deeper analysis, and this requires effort in interviewing customers, maybe arranging focus groups and all that. So it does take a bit of effort, right? Just to prepare for personalization, right? The customer journey, the mapping of customer journey, the buyer's personas, the segmentation and tidying out the database, right? So that's a basis, and then you need to look for tools and enable you to execute personalization, right? So I hope today you have benefited from this session, and if you're interested in knowing more about marketing automation and personalization, I'll be happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. My handle is Brandon Yong, and my Twitter handle is Empathy Solutions. I'll be sending the free 30-day trial to ConvertFlow through Sharon and the team at Digital Marketing Summit, and I wish for you all the best in your business and your digital marketing efforts. Hope to see you at more digital marketing events and at the next Digital Marketing Summit. Bye bye.